So I'm Ryan Brown and I'm starting this channel because of something that happened to me a few months ago that really changed my life forever.
This was me 5 years ago when I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called small fiber neuropathy. I decided to share my journey as somebody with juvenile small fiber neuropathy, a young person with the disease, here on YouTube, and just share my experience and sort of just have a cathartic talk to sort of get out my frustrations with the medical system and just not having answers. But it's been 5 years, and I want to come back and tell you a few things that I've learned. Because here I am sitting talking to you, a little bit longer haired, a little bit more hippie freak looking, and also symptom free. I want to tell you how I did that, but I also want to give you a little bit of hope. I've worked now as a nutritional therapy practitioner with over 50 small fiber neuropathy clients, and I've seen massive improvements among many, if not all of them. But what's interesting is that not everybody did the same things that I did. So allow me to tell you my story, some major things that really helped me along the path of healing, but give you a little bit of nuance because everybody is different, and I think you all deserve an individual approach to your care. Now, what is small fiber neuropathy? Now, if you're new to this, I would really say go watch my very first video I made on this channel where I talk about my journey, my diagnosis, and how that all came to be. But fundamentally, what's going on is that we are all made of various nerve types: large fiber, small fiber, dysautonomic nerves. Small fiber nerves are the nerves that make up a lot of your sensory nerves, meaning the touch sensations, the heat, the cold. I mean, large fiber nerves contribute to this as well, but the small fiber nerves are only sensory nerves. There are also dysautonomic nerve functions that control your heart rate, your breathing, your organ systems, things that are involuntary that you do not control. Small fiber neuropathy can affect both of those things. I had symptoms a little bit of both, but mine were predominantly sensory in nature, meaning that I felt tingling, crawling, burning, pinching, twitching, you name it, I had it. You can Google the symptoms. That is exactly what I felt. But what I didn't know is why this was happening to me. And that set me on an entirely new journey after I decided to quit conventional medicine, after I realized that they were only going to give me a pill for an ill approach with medication, immunosuppressants, and a lot of pain medication that really didn't even touch anything, but give me addictive tendencies to relying on these medications for my daily use without withdrawal. And so I quit all of that, left it behind, and I decided I was going to go into a functional medicine holistic route with heavy skepticism, as you should. But I learned a few things along the way, including going back to school and getting my nutritional therapy practitioner certification to help people like yourself. One of those things that I learned is that fundamentally, you are not broken. I think it's very easy to sit there with your condition like I was and think, what happened? Like, what is wrong? Is this just who I am? Was this an inevitable course of my life's fate? Or did I do something to get here? But one thing I learned really early on is that you're not broken, but your environment might be. That's because all of us have something called mitochondria. These mitochondria, you may remember from 6th grade biology class, they're the powerhouse of the cell. They make an energy currency that some will call ATP. Now, that is a whole nother subject. But what's fascinating is that we are a reflection of our mitochondrial health. Our mitochondria are pretty much everything. You inherit them mostly from your mother, so if you're worried about your dad and his crazy antics as a kid or a teenager or a college student, don't worry. You should worry about your moms. But what I'm talking about here is that when your mitochondria break down, the rest of your biology will follow. These control your epigenetic processes through the 33 genes that are found within the mitochondria, and it is a result of the environment that you find yourself in. So that means what you eat, how you sleep, the light that's around you, the non-native electromagnetic fields that might be in your presence, the toxins that you're putting on your skin, ingesting. It's a multitude of things. And that's why I said many people find varying relief strategies from different things. Now, if you're wondering, did I just eliminate my symptoms or did I have full nerve fiber density restored? I actually had nerve fiber density restored, which I was told was impossible. So take that as an N of one. I'm not going to say that that's going to be everybody, but that has been my experience and it has been profound. Now, one of the major things that I really leaned into, and I think the subject of this video is going to be laid out as, is that there's a major thing that controls a lot of the health of our mitochondria. And that goes back to something called our circadian rhythm, which you may be familiar with, is our light and dark cycles that all of us as diurnal mammals, diurnal meaning we're awake during the day, asleep at night, have come to function under. But in 1893, something really amazing happened, or should I say detrimental. And that was the invention or the proclamation of the modern light bulb, or at that time, the incandescent bulb, where they lit up the Chicago night with an alternative light source other than fire, which had been our light source pretty much at night for hundreds of thousands of years. And this was remarkable at the time. What we didn't know is that this was going to set up a host of problems that we now see today. And there are even studies coming out now about the dangers of artificial light and diseases such as Alzheimer's or cancers or various heart diseases. Light affects every aspect of our being, and the light at the right time in the right place can be beneficial, but light at the wrong time in the wrong place can be devastating. And one of the things that I became fundamentally obsessed with was this idea that I needed to write my circadian biology, which also won the Nobel Prize in 2017, where they showed that thousands and thousands of biological clocks control many of our major functions, even our hormones, pretty much everything cascading from that. So if we're thinking of health as a pyramid, the base of this pyramid would be circadian biology. And that's what I want to talk to you right now. How do you set yourself up for a proper light environment, and how do you negate the ill effects of a bad light environment? So firstly, we should start with how all of us start our day. Most of us wake up and we start scrolling on our phone, going through TikTok, going through X, going through our Facebook feeds. But what we're not understanding is that this is fundamentally breaking down the first rule of circadian biology, which is you should always see sunrise as the first light of your day. Why is that important? It sets everything in motion. It gives you the right light signal and tells your brain what time of day it is. When you look at your phone, you're receiving an artificially isolated wavelength, predominantly blue light, which is not what's found in full spectrum sunlight, which contains UV, it contains red and infrared. If we're talking about morning sunlight, that's predominantly red and infrared light. But you're sending yourself the wrong signal when you turn on the light, you open the fridge, you turn on the bathroom light, you look at your phone. You need to go outside and look at the sun. Not directly, okay? I'm not saying stare directly at the sun, all right? Let's get that out of here. If you do that, you're gonna set yourself up for the right hormonal processes throughout the day. And this is very important, especially when we talk about melatonin, your sleep hormone, later at night. Now, you should be taking proper light breaks throughout the day. If you're somebody that works at 9 to 5, usually I'll suggest go eat your lunch outside. If you have a 10-minute break, go take it outside, let the light into your eyes. Make sure you take your glasses off and your contacts out, because those actually bend the wavelengths of light entering your eye, and it actually filters out some of the helpful wavelengths such as infrared and red that are restorative and beneficial. Now, let's talk about the thing where we're gonna mess up the most, and that's gonna be light after dark. We're heading into fall, the light is waning, and we really need to understand that blocking artificial light at night is just as important as getting the right amount of light during the daytime. So what do you do at night? You wear blue blockers. Now these are daytime ones. They're yellow lenses. They block about 50% of the blue wavelengths of light when you're inside. I wear these during the day or when I'm working on the computer. I have the same pair of these that are red, that are amber lenses that block 99% of artificial wavelengths of light at night. Now that is imperative that you do this at night. It's not a question of ifs, ands, or buts, okay? You have to do this. Or you can turn off the lights. If you wanna do that and now watch TV, Netflix, and chill, that is your right to do so. If you want to light candles, you can do that as well. But you need to be blocking those artificial wavelengths from entering your eye. You need to protect your melatonin, because we know in studies that artificial light, I'll show a graph right here, can block melatonin release by up to 80% if you're not protecting your eyes. These are probably the two most fundamental things, morning light and blocking light at night, that I really instilled in my own healing journey. And that's because if you're not getting a restful night's sleep, which really starts with the first light of the day, you are not fundamentally getting to the root cause of your problems, which is mitochondrial health. Light is the first fundamental of mitochondrial health. And in further series, I want to dive into a few deeper topics that are utilities that I might have used along my journey, such as red light therapy, which I think can be massively beneficial, especially in the winter months when you're not able to get as much natural light as maybe you could do in the summer, where you could sit outside like I'm doing right now. Red light therapy, blue blockers, all of these things I'm going to be listing down in the description as a resource for you. And yes, I am taking clients. If you're somebody that has been struggling and you really feel like you want somebody that has been in your shoes to help hold your hand and walk you through this process of healing without fancy lab tests, spending thousands of dollars on supplements or weird testing, I'm your guy. Book a free consult with me, linked in the description below on my website. Remember that health is out there. Check out some other content over here, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.